Welcome to Mintz Christian Academy. We have a new third grade teacher, Miss Jan Butler. She's already had a parent night and is doing great with her students. Abby Tyler had a chance to sit down and interview her, so let's check out that interview. Hey, I'm Abby from Mintz News. I'm here interviewing Miss Butler, our new third grade teacher, and I'm going to ask her a couple of questions. How do you like Mintz so far?
I love it. It has been, from the moment that I walked in the door, the most loving and accepting faculty and staff. I get lots of help from all my co-teachers, and I can't brag on them enough for just welcoming me in and making me feel like I was not at my job, but just at a home where I can, if I need some help, I can go get some help. So it's been great. I love it.
That's so great to hear. What is your teaching background?
Well, I got my undergraduate degree from East Carolina University and my master's from East Carolina. And I started out, my very first teaching job several years ago was in third grade. So I've taught in public school most of my teaching experience. And I did have 5 years at Harold's Christian Academy. And then I was back in the public school after I retired doing some interim positions, and I did some reading interventions, and I did some extended leaves for some first grade. But most of it has been in public school, kindergarten and first grade. So, but I have taught 7th grade and 4th grade and 3rd grade and 2nd grade. So just kind of all over the map on that one.
So nice to hear. What brought you to Mintz instead of another school?
Okay, well, this is kind of an interesting story. I was at a volleyball game, and Officer Kennedy was sitting beside his wife, who I know and love, Miss Sandra Kennedy. She and I talked together for decades. And he just kind of reached over. I'm not on Facebook, so he just kind of reached over and showed me his Facebook page, and it said, Mintz is looking for a 3rd grade teacher. And I thought, oh my gosh, that kind of, I was kind of, okay, well, and I thought about it, and I started praying about it. And, the story about the man who was drowning, and one boat came and said, do you need some help? And he said, no, God will save me. And then, he's going deeper and deeper under the water, and another boat comes, a bigger boat, and he says, come on, get in the boat, and the man says, no, God will save me. And so then, the man's sinking lower, and a big, huge boat comes, and the captain hollers down, get in the boat, we'll help you. And he said, no, God will save me. And he, of course, the man drowned. And then when he gets to heaven, and he said, God, I pray for you to save me and everything. And God said, well, I sent 3 boats. And that's the way my boat started. Mr. Kennedy was my first boat. And then I went to the Clinton Street Fair, and I saw a friend of mine who I used to teach with. And she was 2nd grade, and I was a reading intervention. And I hadn't seen her in over 2 years. And she teaches here, Miss Sandra Ward. And I said, well, how's school? I knew she was at Mintz. And she said, oh, I love it. And I said, well, I saw that there was a 3rd grade opening for a teacher. And she said, oh my, you should come. You'll love it. And I thought, well, God, that's my 2nd boat. Mr. Kennedy was my first boat. Sandra Ward was my 2nd boat. And then when I got here, Miss Desiree Hagan was my 3rd boat. She was in here and had taken over when the teacher unexpectedly had to leave. And she did 5 weeks with the children, and she could not have been more wonderful, and just got me started and helped me get going. It was super overwhelming. I really was, just going, oh my gosh. But she just wouldn't let me give up, and we just kept going. And she said, okay, I'll show you how to sign in, and I'll show you how to do the lunch, and I'll show you this, show you that. So she was my 3rd boat, and I knew that when I got here that I was home. I was going to stay. So when they offered me the job, I said, oh yeah, I'll take that 3rd grade.
We're so glad to have you here. What have you enjoyed teaching the most?
Well, I think that doing the older students, when I taught kindergarten and 1st grade, I would read a lot of stories, and a lot of the little hidden messages in the stories from the author were, like over their head. They just didn't get it. I read a story to my third graders that I had read previously to kindergarten and first grade. It's called Wolf's Coming, and the whole thing is about the wolf is having they're having a birthday party, a surprise birthday party for the wolf, and all along it says, the wolf's coming, and you gotta hide, and do what we planned and everything. And the kindergarten and first grade kids didn't really get it. They just got it at the end. It was his birthday, blah, blah, blah. Third grade is falling out in the floor because they know all along that they were planning for this birthday party for this wolf, and that you thought as a reader that they were going to eat the animals, and they weren't. So I think I like the older thinking pattern that, they get things, and they really do. They like to tell jokes too all the time, or they're always doing something. But I think maybe just dealing with the older kids, I think I've enjoyed that a lot. So that was one of the things I worried about. Was I going to be able to reach third grade? I've been really successful with kindergarten and first grade, and was I going to be able to make it with the third grade? And I really enjoy it, so that's been a fun part.
And lastly, who's your favorite student?
Gosh, I don't know. I can't pick one. I'm going to have to just go with all of them. I could never single one of them out. I mean, I just have to go for all of them because they all are, coming in, and I was their third teacher, and they just have embraced me and welcomed me and made me feel at home, and I really just so appreciate that. So I could never pick out just one. So I'll just say my favorite students are the third grade at Mintz Christian Academy, and we'll leave it at that.
Well, I thank you for your time. And
you're so welcome.